Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is the Diana White Show live, welcoming you from around the world and in the United States. And thank you so much for joining us today. It is Thursday. Tomorrow is what? Friday already? What is happening in the world? The time is moving so fast. And I simply have a big question for you today. Have you had a day when you just feel exhausted after you've done all that you should do, all you can do, and you just feel a little blue? And you have to keep reminding yourself, I love me. I'm good. Everything is good. I'm blessed. God loves me. But you just can't shake that feeling of, and you're saying to yourself, and you're looking up and you're asking God, can you give me something easy that I don't have to fight for, that I don't have to struggle for, that I don't have to beat myself up for, that I don't have to work so hard for? Could I get some of those vineyards that I didn't plant? And could you just open up the windows of heaven and pour me out a blessing that I have not room to receive? Yeah. I had one of those days yesterday. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why it happened, how it happened. And I'm just hoping that there's somebody out there who have some of those days. But you know that you gotta just brush yourself off, pick yourself up, and go. Because no one cares. Nobody wants to know your problems. But you got to just keep trusting God, believing in God, and know that He will give you the miracles you expect. As the Bible promises, that He will give you the desires of your heart. And He will restore to you all that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm and the palmerworm and the caterpillar. He will give you double for your troubles. And He will enlarge your coast and bless you indeed like He did Jabez. And most of all, He will give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding like Solomon. And that, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is what keeps you going. Because some days you truly need to keep that in your brain, engraved in your brain, and be able to tap into it in order to survive the day. You don't need sex, you don't need kisses, you just need a hug, maybe. Or maybe you just want to stay there for a moment and brood until you get over it. But don't forget, I keep telling you, there's no time to stay down and brood. I give you a few hours, maybe a day, but after that, I'm going to kick you and say, get on up now. It's time to recover and time to look up and expect the blessings and the miracles from God, because that's what He promises us. Yeah, we have to do some things. We know that. And you know, the pastor will tell you the first thing you need to do is go tithing. Well, Rich Vera says, no, that's not the first thing. The first thing that you must learn to hear the voice of God. Wow. I just thought I'd share that with you because you know something? Part of what makes me so tired is the same recurring story in Washington. The debt ceiling, and all the government is going to be shut down, and Ted Cruz is tiring. And isn't it 2011 that we went through all of this? At that time it was Paul Ryan with his eyes scary enough to let us know that the deficit is going through the roof. But now that the deficit is going down, more than it's gone down over, 50 years or something like that? Paul Ryan is very quiet these days. So he sends out another bully in the name of Ted Cruz and his sidekick. Because Rand Paul, who's wanting to be president, who will not be president for sure, because we do know his views and his values. He doesn't want government, but he wants a government job, which is the highest job that we can pay someone to represent us. Are these guys for real? Do these politicians really and truly believe that we are so dumb that we don't know the dance that they're dancing right now? And they're going to take us to the brink of September. What is it, 30th? Yeah. We've seen this dance play out already. The party that was swinging in 2011 is swinging again, but they least forget that President Barack Hussein Obama is no longer running for any office. Yeah? His future is set. Whether you worry about your legacy or whatever it is they think he's worried about. Obamacare is already law, really. October 1 is just around the corner. And then there's January 1st. And Ted Cruz, with all his mighty fake filibuster, will not be able to stop that. Because once people realize that they can buy insurance for $11 a month, like some people are already doing, praise the God that brought us all here. We will all be running to that exchange to get that $11 a month thing. That's called the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. And the death panels? Haven't seen any yet. Maybe you can let me know about some. And Sarah Palin, anyone that Sarah Palin is backing and speaking up for, and Rush Limbaugh is praising them and thanking them like Mr. Ted Cruz, oh my God, you should have heard him talking to Mr. Rush Limbaugh, the savior, the God of the Republican Party. Oh my God, doesn't it make you sick? Doesn't it make you tired? It makes me tired to see these guys, and it's all in the name of making themselves powerful, popular, and be in the media every time you turn. But sometimes, Senator Ted Cruz, negative publicity can actually cut your legs off. It sure can. So let us make haste to understand. And all those people that they're surveying in the Bloomberg poll today that are talking about, oh, President Obama is down because he needs to go and negotiate with the Republicans. How many times did he try that? Well, now that he's not running for any more office, he can stand his ground and have some backbone and say, I am not going to let you not pay the bills that you already run up. Can you imagine when you don't pay your mortgage and your credit card bills, how many times they call you and want to kill you and send the vipers on your phone? So why, stupid American people, will always get sucked into this thing? Can you imagine if you don't pay your credit card bills and your mortgage or your rent or your light bill or your water bill? What happens? Just figure that out. So is that what you want to happen in Washington with your polling? And who the hell are they polling anyway? I've never gotten polled. They're polling these people who are talking about negotiate with crazy people. Well, Congressman King says it so well. Cruz is a terrorist, and you cannot negotiate with terrorists. So President Barack Obama is correct in not trying to negotiate with terrorists. Do you want him to go on negotiate with Al-Shabaab? How about that? How about Al-Qaeda? Come on, guys. Wake up and stop being sucked in by the politicians who are telling you what they think you want to hear, when they don't give a crap about you, the fact that you're sleeping in your car, your mortgage is underwater, you have no food or clothes for your children or yourself. Wake up and smell the coffee. And you Tea Partiers, you need to wake up, because you are being led by blind people. And there's one thing, you see, if you're blind and you have a seeing eye dog, and he gets too old and he's blind too, you got to give him back, because he can't lead you anymore, because he's now blind. So American people, my fellow Americans, please stop being lied to by your politicians and suck it in and believe it as truth. I don't care whether you finish high school or you're dumb or you're stupid or you're foolish. You have to have enough common sense and street smarts to know that these guys are lying. How much longer are you going to elect them and send them to Washington for them to do the same thing over and over and over and over again? And listen to all those campaign promises. I don't want to hear any more of it. Do you? Well, voting in 2014, think hard before you go out and vote. 2016, we don't know yet, because I don't like to think that forward. Yeah? Because I live in the present and in the now, and this is my moment to speak to you wherever you are around the world and in this here great United States. You need to stop listening to lying politicians. Ted Cruz cannot repeal Obamacare. He cannot even defund it. So when you have him out there, you know, making you stand up and cheer and woo and woo, get rid of Obamacare, I hope to God that none of those people in those rooms where Mr. Cruz was, and going to be, are gonna reap any of the benefits of Obamacare. It's all well and good to talk about something that is no good, just like they talked about Medicare in the past. But can you just look at the thing, take the good, and try to fix the bad? How about that? Wouldn't that be a better idea, don't you think? Shall we just engage our brains for a minute? And stop acting like silly people who are being led by a leash by some crazy Republicans all the time. And all the Tea Partiers that were elected in 2010 in the midterm elections, what they went to Washington to do is to obstruct Obama. But right about now, I don't want to hear about Obama, because Obama is set. His family is set. I want to hear you talking about the American people, the American economy, and the stock market that is fluttering because they don't know what the hell the Republicans are planning to do. How about some jobs bill to sign? How about some infrastructure taken care of before our bridges keep falling down on top of us? To God be the glory. Great things he will do and is doing. And I know within my heart and my soul that he will bring some light to the Republicans who are acting like they're crazy. You're not elected to go and obstruct. You're elected to go and do the people's business. So get on with it and start working like all Americans have to do, and stop acting and asking for special treatment and exemptions, because you're not special. You're just doing a job. Just like this is my job. If I'm on radio, that's the job. If I'm on TV, that's the job. It's just a job. And for you, your voters can just say, bye-bye, see you tomorrow in the next election. Keep that in mind, because people don't normally stay stupid forever. Just in case you think they're stupid. Okay, moving over now to Mr. Cory Booker. Mr. Cory Booker, are you losing your mind or what? You're losing your marbles or you're gone crazy? Did you just forget what happened to Anthony Weiner in New York, who ran for mayor? Sir Booker, have you forgotten it? And why on earth are you tweeting? Yeah, we know that Cory Booker loves social media. We know that, and that's okay. But we don't want to see another Anthony Weiner episode with this black politician. Yeah? So, Mr. Booker, zipper your Twitter. And don't be tweeting to know, what is she? Go-go dancer or stripper or whoever she is. The vegan stripper? And you like her? What is that about? Okay, cool it. Prospective Senator Booker from New Jersey. You need to take it easy. And everyone is just speculating, oh, this one is going to be president and this one is going to be the nominee, and goodness gracious me, take time, slow down now. Do we know what's going to happen tomorrow? Do we know if we're all going to be here in 2016 for any election to be? How do we know that God is not going to come for this crazy world right now? We should be getting ready, prepared, and waiting. And while we're waiting, we don't want hell to take place on earth here. We want to live in joy and peace and happiness, abundant health, abundant wealth, and prosperity. Yes. That's what we are all entitled to. And we should claim it in the name of Jesus. So as I speak to you today, my dear Cory Booker, please cut the tweeting Twitter. If you can't control yourself, because remember, there are always those women out there waiting for a vulnerable moment to take advantage of you and lead you by that string, because they know that your penis in your pants get crazy. So please keep that in mind. Learn from Anthony Weiner, I beg you, please. I get a lot of crap on Facebook for people talking about, oh, I want to be your friend, I want to talk to you on a private email. No. You don't even want to open it to see what they're thinking. If it sounds suggestive, it is. So control yourselves, men. And women, stop trying to reel the men in with your seductive selves. Either way, it's not cool. And so we see there's a priest. Ha 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 ha. He voluntarily resigned because he has fathered a child. This is a priest from St. Mary's Catholic Church in Stockton, California. Father Dean McFalls. Oh, my Lord Jesus, we give you honor and praise as we magnify your name. Because I do wonder, we all are tempted. None of us are perfect. But do we have to go as priest and make someone pregnant? Obviously, he's not married to her. So it must be something being done undercover. So he voluntarily resigns and asks his congregation for forgiveness. And that's okay. We forgive. But when he was asked if priests should marry and have families, he said he will leave that to the Pope to answer. So Pope Francis, you've been the Pope that has stirred things up. So let's see how you'd stir this one up. Are you going to allow priests to get married and have families? Maybe they should. Because the celibacy thing seemed to be a hard road for these guys. Remember the other priest was in Miami? I think it was last year or the year before. He couldn't control himself. He was in love. But yet they put on their white cloak, or their purple cloak, or their black cloak, and they go in front of the congregation and they preach. Oh, how they preach. We congratulate Father Dean McFalls for coming out. But why did you wait until the child was born and you couldn't lie no more? Shouldn't you have just resigned when you felt yourself falling in love with something or in lust with somebody? And stop preaching and giving communion and doing all these things and telling people to do the right thing when you're doing the wrong thing? These are the things that really got me down yesterday and made me tired. Because I simply just want to know. I just want to know. Can't we just be honest about what we do? And what we're doing and how we feel? If your husband is going to have sex with somebody else, I would rather him come home and tell me, or call me on the phone and tell me so I can throw his things out. If that's the motive I feel at the time. Why wait and do it in darkness? Why? We're no longer teenagers where our behavior shall be excused. We're adults speaking to others, encouraging others to do the right thing. Yet when we think no one is watching, because God is always watching, why do we think no one is watching? I heard the story of a preacher who preached honesty in his church. And as he boarded the bus driver gave him back too much change. So the preacher sat down and pondered. Should I give it back or should I keep it? And after pondering for a while, he went and said to the bus driver, "You gave me too much money back." The driver said, "Yes, I know, I did it on purpose, because I was in your church on Sunday and heard you preaching about honesty. So I just wanted to test you to see how honest you are." You just never know who's watching and waiting to set you up. Because people will do that. There are haters out there who are just there to set you up. Did you know? Yeah. It's such a thing. So you need to have your guard up. Even when you go to a Christian school, not everyone there are Christians. They might be just kind of sort of Christians. Not everyone there who comes from a good home is going to behave like a good person. So you got to keep your guard up. Be aware when you go to your car to open it in the plaza, the strip mall, the big mall. Always be aware who's behind you. You're driving home in the dark? Check your mirrors. Make sure no one is following you. So is it too much to ask for us to do the right thing? Isn't it so much easier to do the right thing? Especially when it involves deceiving other people and you're in a position of authority and influence. My golly, to whom much is given, much is expected. And if you're a preacher, if you're a politician, if you're in a position of leadership, much is expected. So let us not take people down the alleyway and lead them into the lake so they can drown because they were listening to you tell them some crap. Remember Mr. Jones and all those followers that he took to Guyana and made them drink the juice of death? Hello, people. Wake up. So there you go. Wow. What a day. And those are some of the things that kind of got me down yesterday. Because I just think that it's so much easier for life to be wonderful when you're honest and truth to yourself and love yourself and love who you are. And yeah, we all want some more money. I do too. I would love to have some money. I'd love to be the person that won that $400 million in lottery. But I'm not. So right now, I just got to be content with the little I have and hope that God will open out that window from heaven and pour me out a blessing that I have not room to receive. Because you got to keep hope alive. And expectation is a big thing, you know. Because if you don't expect anything, then what you gonna get? Nothing. That's the reason you should expect your children to succeed. Give them the tools to succeed. Hurry them along. Encourage them along. No negative talk, only positive talk. And let them take the rest on. Because that's all you can do. You can't go to college with them. Yeah, I offered to. I offered to go and sit in the classroom. But I was told, no, Mom. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little break and come back in just a moment because I have something that I want to share with you, yeah? Right about now, let's go to that. Hello, everyone. This is a season of giving, and I'm asking you to consider one of your gifts to be Deadly Negligence, written by yours truly, Diana Wright. A story that will give you hope, make you mad, shock you sometimes, but it's by faith. Make you believe in miracles again. So please, give Deadly Negligence as a gift. As the gifting season begins to heat up, I am depending on you to do this for me. Thank you so much, and be the proud person to give a gift of the book Deadly Negligence. It's available on .com and on my website dianawrighttv.webs.com. Thank you so much for my viewers around the world and in the United States. Be blessed. Okay, we don't know what's going on with the signal there, but you know, we hope that it came out and you saw it and you know what's going on and what's in my heart. We just want you to go out and get yourself a copy of Deadly Negligence, available on Amazon.com, on my website dianawrighttv.webs.com. It's gifting time. So give a gift of this book to someone you love and care for. I promise you it will help them in special ways. They will learn things they never thought of. Yeah, that's what I'm being told by some of my readers. You've taught me things that I never even thought about. One guy said to me, well, if I knew about that career that you mentioned in there, I would have gone that route instead. Didn't know that that existed. So read on. Come on now. All right, hundreds of students, teachers, and local residents gathered at the University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa, the setting of one of the most famous segregation protests of the 1960s, to protest what, you might ask? The exclusion of black students from white fraternities and sororities. Are we 2014 or what are we in? Hello? The silent march across the school grounds came after university officials acknowledged that decisions were made based on race in this year's sorority recruitment process and ordered changes. It's 2014, my brothers and my sisters. When we die, whether we white or brown or immigrant or green, we are only afforded the same plot. The same amount of real estate in the earth belongs to us. And death is a sure thing. So while we're on earth, can we just give some more love? Love yourself first, because if you love yourself, you won't have any racist bone in your body. And you won't be hating on anyone else if you love you. You would just try to give them love. My grandmother always said, you know, the people who are bad and nasty to you, just show them some love. Because when you show them love, they'll kind of wonder, what's wrong with her? Okay? So, the action came 5 decades after then Governor George Wallace, remember him, made his famous stand in the schoolhouse door, quote, protest against racial integration on the same campus as 2 black students that you may remember, James Hood and Vivian Moore, were escorted past him by the Alabama National Guard. That image is etched in your memory. Protesters carried a banner with the words, "The final stand in the schoolhouse door." That's it. The blame lies with people like me in sororities 20 years ago because we didn't do anything about them. This was being said by Meredith Cummings, a professor at the school as well as an alumni. Alumni member, yeah. But she says, I'm so glad to see students today have made it their fight. The Crimson White student newspaper wrote that at least 2 black students had been denied entry into some of the school's 16 all-white sororities due to their race. The report quoted active sorority members, named and unnamed, saying alumni had prevented the chapters from allowing the black students to join this. An alumna interviewed by the paper said the students had been rejected for policy procedure reasons, but she did not outline what those were. Could it be just because they're black? The 2 black students could not be reached for comment. And if I were them, I would have no comments, really and truly. Sororities, bad thing. Fraternities, bad thing. Do not allow your children to join them. Okay? Because this is what's going on in some of them. When they're not hazing and getting your kids to drink alcohol that they never drank when they were home and doing all kind of crazy sex things and all that. Yeah, Those are the things that happen in those sororities. So when your children go off to be fresh men and women, make sure if they go and join one of those things, you do your research. Speak to the people and let them know that you're watching. Well, for the school that my daughter goes to, they only use the word sorority, but they have none of the things. Because I just told them flat out, I don't like sororities. Speak up, parents. Get your act in gear. And don't be afraid of your teenager talking about they're embarrassed. I don't care. While you're living under my roof, I need to protect you from yourself. Because even though they think they know everything, as teenagers, they really don't. Just reminding you for a moment here that October 5 is the fundraising event of the year. Yeah, that's the white fundraising party being thrown by Save a Life Jamaica Foundation in West Palm Beach. So you need to check that out. If you can't make the party, please go on the website and make your contribution to the event. We thank you for doing that. And just another racism story coming down the line here. An outpost of Famous Dave's Barbecue in Bismarck, North Dakota, fired 2 employees after they posted a photo on Facebook that seemed to call out Native Americans as bad tippers. They say the same thing about black people. But I tip. I don't want to be lumped into no black people don't tip business, because I tip. And if you start and thinking that I won't tip, I'm going to stop tipping. How about that? Because most of the times the people serving you are white people. So should we just start boycotting tipping? Since they think we don't tip, we might as well not tip. So Native Americans have just joined the group of non-tippers. Whoa. Oh. And this photo was posted during the United Tribes International Powwow, a festival in Bismarck that thousands of Native Americans attend. Andrea Casson is shown in the photo holding a sign that says this: spare change. I saw that thing online. I wanted to smack her upside her face. Help! I'm a server at Famous Dave's on Powwow weekend. Anything helps. 5 cents, 25 cents. It's more than my tips. How rude. Casson said the photo was supposed to be for Snapchat. Whatever that is, I'm checking it out. But that, it ultimately ended up on Facebook. Be careful what you put online. You don't know where it's going to end up. She and the picture taker were both fired. The restaurant owner, Mike Wright, oh my God, he has my last name, put up his own Facebook post about the incident and the employees in question. When an employee decides to make an ass of him or himself, they can now do it for all to see. Sadly, for reasons unknown to me, oftentimes bitter employees also try to embarrass the employers and taint the businesses where they work. Clearly, a recent post by a now former employee fits this description. Well, I see why Mike's name is Wright too. He's smart. Thank you, Mr. Wright, for firing those 2 crazies, because they are crazy. Now if someone feels like tipping, why should you tip when you go to a restaurant? You should be tipping if the service is good. And that's the reason I don't like when they add that tip in on their own, because the service might just have been bad and I don't want to tip. I tip anyway, because you feel bad. But should you be tipping someone when the service is bad? I don't think you should. So should we start, like cracking that up on Facebook? When should you tip? You should only tip when the service is good. Yeah, like me on Facebook. Thumbs up. Yeah, thank you very much. Because I speak the truth and speak my mind clearly. No hot potatoes in my mouth. So here we go now. You can't go to school with the dreadlocks in your hair. So if you're a dreadlock parent and you're trying to get your kid into school, you better cut them locks off, because a 2nd grader named Tiana Parker of Tulsa, Oklahoma, found herself at age 7 at the center of decades of debate over standards of black beauty. What is black beauty anyway? You might ask. Cultural pride and freedom of expression. It was no isolated incident at the predominantly black Deborah Brown Community School, which in the face of outrage in last August apologized and rescinded language banning dreadlocks, afros, mohawks, and other faddish hairstyles it had called unacceptable and potential health hazards. What does the health hazards come in? I'm assuming that if you have dreadlocks, you're washing your hair too. I'm assuming if you have an afro, you're also washing your hair. If you have mohawk, you'll be washing that hair too, aren't you? Or you're just gelling it. Isn't lice normally in white hair, blonde hair, and that kind of hair? Okay. A few weeks earlier, another charter school, the Horizon Science Academy in Lorain, Ohio, sent a draft policy home to parents that proposed a ban on afro puffs and small twisted braids. Now, my golly, you're going to be told how to wear your hair in school? Unless you're doing something crazy, I'm not so sure about that. It too quickly apologized and withdrew the wording. But at historically black Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia, the dean of the business school has defended and left in place a 12-year-old prohibition on dreadlocks and cornrows for male students in a leadership seminar for MBA candidates, saying the look is not businesslike. And I so agree with you, sir, because a man coming into my office for a job with his hair braided, not cool. I don't even know about the dreadlocks thing. Not so sure. Because, you know, you have people like Maxi Priest, and there was this young man who worked for NBC in New York who had nice, sweet, clean dreadlocks. But, I don't know. Does that really look good with a suit and tie? Not so sure. Tiana's father, Terrence Parker, said he and his wife chose not to change her style and moved Tiana, the straight A student, no doubt, to a different public school where she now happily sings songs about her hair with friends. I think it still hurts her, but the way I teach my kids is regardless of what people say, you be yourself and you be happy with who you are and how God made you. Thank you, Jesus. That man, Mr. Terrence Parker, is teaching his child to love herself just the way God made her. But I'm here to remind Mr. Parker that God did not make her with dreadlocks hair. And when she goes out into the work world, if she plans to work for someone, the dress code might be no dreadlocks. So teach her that too. While you teach her independence and self-esteem and self-confidence and loving herself, you need to always add in. We need to conform with the rules of those that we decide to be a part of. It's important to do that too, because rules and regulations are crucial to life and to the world, basically. So what of 16-year-old Dante de Blasio from New York? He goes to a school in Brooklyn. He's 16, and he has an afro I haven't seen since the 60s. But his dad, who's running for mayor, Mr. de Blasio, Bill de Blasio, the candidate, he's married to a lady that's swinging some dreadlocks. A black lady, yeah. So how do we deal with that? Is Dante allowed to go to school with his big old fro? And someone else in, where is this? Oh, Oklahoma and Ohio cannot go with their dreads? I don't know. That's a checkable thought. Maybe we should check that. So we see now that in California there's good news, and California, I love California. Oh my God, I wish I could just move there right this minute. I just love LA. I love Santa Barbara, but I'd live in LA. I love San Francisco. I love San Diego. I just love California. So, California is always leading the charge, and they're doing something good. Governor Jerry Brown put his signature on a bill that will hike California's minimum wage to $10 an hour within 3 years. I'm sorry he didn't just make it immediate, but anyway, making it one of the highest rates in the nation. Yay for California. Whoa, we love you, Cali. The legislation will gradually raise the current minimum wage, which is higher than the rest of the nation anyway. It's $8 an hour, to $9 by July of next year, 2014, then $10 by January 2016. Hooray for California. Yeah. The increase is the first to the state's minimum wage in 6 years and comes amid a national debate. Remember when President Obama in his last speech spoke about raising the minimum wage to $9? Oh, the Republicans went crazy. Whether it's fair to pay fast food workers, retail clerks, and other wages so low that they often have to work second and third jobs. Brown called the bill an overdue piece of legislation that will help working class families and close the gap between workers at the bottom and those who occupy the commanding heights of the economy. Not so fast, but getting there. The governor was joined by state legislators and business owners who supported the measure, saying increased wages would boost the state's economy. Yeah, people, if poor people have money, they ain't saving none of it. They're buying stuff. So it's good for the economy. Both chambers voted largely, of course, along party lines. Miguel Aguilar, a worker at a Los Angeles car wash, thanked the governor for signing the bill. He said, "We work really long hours," and he's a union contract worker. Now with the increase, he said, in the minimum wage, we'll be able to sustain an income that can support our families. A higher minimum wage will mean much needed money in the pocket of millions of workers in the state, and that's good news for businesses throughout California that will benefit from increased consumer spending. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. In opposing the measure, guess who? The Republican lawmakers said this: increased wages would encourage businesses to cut jobs and automate. Well, I tell you what, Mr. Republican, there are some jobs you just can't automate. Like the one I'm doing. I want to see you put a robot up here to read and speak to the nation. I don't think all jobs can be automated. And why are the Republicans so mean anyway? You begrudge someone $10 an hour when you're making $170,000 a year just to go there and block and talk a whole lot of crap and tell some lies? How about that? You don't even read the bills that you put out. Because I think if Ted Cruz had read the Affordable Care Act, the stacks, over the summer instead of spending his time stirring up trouble and telling lies, he probably would not have done that fake filibuster. Did he know that people are paying $11 now under Obamacare for health care per month? Hello, Mr. Cruz, are you there? Open! Please. Okay, we see now Iranian President Hassan Rouhani called the Holocaust a reprehensible crime committed by the Nazis against the Jewish people. Rewind. Ahmadinejad said something kind of different, don't you think? So should we believe Mr. Rouhani or we shouldn't? I'm not so sure. He didn't shake President Obama's hand and he didn't try to get a meeting. So is this just talk and no action? I'm not so sure. He said it was a crime committed by the Nazis against the Jewish people, but said it was up to the historians to determine the scale of what happened. He continues, I am not a historian, and when it comes to speaking of the dimensions of the Holocaust, it is the historians that should reflect. Rouhani told CNN when asked whether or not he believed, as did his hardline predecessor, Ahmadinejad, that the Holocaust was a myth, but in general, I can tell you that any crime that happens in history against humanity, including the crime the Nazis created towards the Jews, is reprehensible and condemnable. Those are his words. Wow. Wow. Israeli officials had sharply criticized Rouhani. He's a moderate cleric, they say, who has made diplomatic overtures to the West for failing to renounce Ahmadinejad. Denial of the Holocaust, which killed 6 million Jews. Remember those words from Ahmadinejad? Yes, he did deny the Holocaust. Rouhani had dodged this same question in an interview last week with NBC. Whatever criminality they committed against the Jews, we condemn. That's what he said. The taking of human life is contemptible, he said. It makes no difference if that life is Jewish life, Christian, or Muslim. For us, it is the same. This does not mean that, on the other hand, there's always a but coming somewhere, you can say Nazis committed crimes against a group, now therefore they must usurp the land of another group and occupy it. That's a twist now. This too is an act that should be condemned. So he's condemning the Jews for occupying the land of the Palestinians. There should be an even-handed discussion. Wow, this is going to be a big one. I think it's going to run over into 2014 because it kind of just heating up. Is it that Rouhani is trying to get us to ease those sanctions, so he's saying the right things, but they're not really going to put any action? I don't think the Israelis are going to allow him to get away with that thought. So, anyway, on a lighter note, we're going to take a break and come back to you in just one moment. And which one shall I take? I'm going to take this one. And we'll come back in just a few moments as it begins to play. Hello everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how rich you are, how poor you are. But there has to be a point in your life, and you will come to that point, where you have to take someone you love to the hospital. But have you ever considered that you could take that loved one, in my case, my only child, to the hospital in a normal state, and then you leave 5 months later, brain damaged, in a wheelchair, without your senses? This is my true story, Deadly Negligence, the book, available on Amazon and at my website, dianawrighttv.webs.com. I'm asking you today to get a copy. Support my story. Let us get this out there, because this story will captivate you. It will shock you. It will give you hope. It will increase your faith and make you believe in miracles again. Thank you for picking up your copy today. And just in case you know Oprah Winfrey or Tyler Perry or Mr. Levinson, let them know this is worth a movie. Thank you. Get your copy today. Okay, I'm back with you. Am I back with you? Yes, I'm back. Okay. Here I am. I'm back with you. And just in case you know Mr. Stephen Baldwin, I gather he is now searching for movies that are, having some miraculous ends and stuff like that. So just in case you know him, you might want to tell him about Deadly Negligence. And we thank you for that. Yeah. Stephen Baldwin, yes, he's now a Christian, a believer, and his testimony is, just awesome. The fact that, it's his housekeeper that they brought in from Brazil that happened to convert his wife, and then his wife converted him. Wow. You need to hear it for yourself. So check it out. Stephen Baldwin. Yeah, the brother of the other Baldwins. Okay, let's go to something lighter now. America's richest states. So if you're wondering which state to move to, you might want to consider this list. Maryland is number 1. The median income is $71,122. Unemployment rate 6.8%. New Jersey, Governor Christie is waiting for you. $69,667, that's the median income. Unemployment though, 9.5, so you might not want to go. Alaska, who knew? The median income in Alaska is $67,712. Unemployment is 7%. Oh my God, with all that cold, I would think that you'd get more pay to be in Alaska. Even Sarah Palin wanted to leave and go to Arizona. Connecticut takes number 4 spot. Median income there is $67,276. Unemployment 8.4. Hawaii, of course, they're calling that the happy state. The median income though is $66,259 and the unemployment is 5.8. I'm on my way to Hawaii, the happy place. The only problem in Hawaii is that the housing market, oh my goodness, the houses are so expensive. $500,000 and you're looking at a little box. Yeah, they would, kind of say it's not so because you can find it cheaper. But if you want a nice house, you better be coming up with $500,000. Okay, America's poorest states now. Mississippi holds the number 1 spot. Do you want to hold that spot? No. $37,095 is their median income and unemployment is 9.2. Arkansas. President Clinton and Madame to be President Hillary Clinton's state, Arkansas. 40,112. Unemployment though is 7.3. West Virginia. Can you imagine that? West Virginia, 40,196. That's their median income and unemployment is 7.3. Alabama, number 4, 41,574. Unemployment is 7.3. Just about what the nation is. Kentucky, 41,724. Their unemployment though is 8.2. Okay, all of you freshmen who are in school and tell me after 2 years that you don't know what you want to do with your life, you don't know what your major is going to be, you don't know what job you want, well, I'm encouraging mine to have their own business. I don't think we should sell our children to school to go look a job. They should come out and be creating something, starting something big, like Zuckerberg, and even though they dropped out, and King Microsoft, Mr. Bill Gates. Okay, majors you need to kind of consider. Sustainability, dealing with the environment. Yes, that's where we're headed. Robotics, yes, robotic surgery. Wow, now being used in surgery and NASA is using it. Public health, I think Chelsea Clinton, that's her specialty. Petroleum engineering, tapping those resources. Business analytics. Data science, and that's computerized data we're talking about. Cybersecurity, oh yes, we all know about that. Because my goodness, I'm still afraid of doing business online. Are you? So cybersecurity is a career of the future. Okay, computer game designer. Big bucks there. Can you imagine those are some of the majors now that you have in college? Cybersecurity, computer game designer, forensic science, yes, using technology to solve crimes. That's a big one. Biometrics, building identification devices like, facial recognition and your thumbprint in the new iPhone, stuff like that. And then there's biomedical engineering. Artificial kidney, you might want to be coming up with one of those. Designer of blood clots, yeah, they have that too. And to save wounded soldiers, created from artificial platelets. That's where we got to leave it today. But I just want to remind you that October 19th is my first book signing. You got to be there. I don't care where in the world you are. You got to come by phone, by car, by bus, by whatever. How about if you just call me when I'm there, and if you're in Europe and you can't make it. But you're going to go to Amazon and purchase the book anyway. Or you can purchase it from my website. Amazon.com or DianaWrightTV.com, .webs.com. Yeah, you should know that by now. www.DianaWrightTV.webs.com. Easy. Amazon.com is easy. So check out Deadly Negligence by yours truly, Diana Wright. In the season of giving, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, please give my book as a gift to someone you love and care for. I promise you, it will give them hope. It will captivate them. It will shock, mad, and make them mad sometimes, but in the end, they will have some more hope, some more faith, and my golly, they're going to definitely believe that God is still in the miracle working business. So have yourself a blessed day. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget, April 30th, 2014 is the second day celebration of International I Love Me Day. You need to get yourself a t-shirt to celebrate the day. And what are you going to do for yourself that's special? Think about that. So be blessed, stay blessed. And if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Don't sweat the small stuff. Enjoy the moment. Live in the now and be present. Thank you from around the world and in the United States, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. See you same time tomorrow, same place. Tell a friend, Facebook a friend about the Diana Wright Show live. Every morning, Monday to Friday, 10:30, we're live. But if you miss the live show, you can go to my website, www.DianaWrightTV.webs.com, and you can see the show you missed that day and all the others that you miss. Have a great day and be blessed.